James Ham with us here. Let's grab Solo here real quick. He's been waiting patiently. Solo, what's going on, baby?
Oh, dude, okay, Steve, James Ham, how's it going, y'all?
What up, Solo?
What's up, man?
Hey, man. So I was actually in the building for two. It was a electric atmosphere, crazy. First time seeing the beam lit. So everything, we're on the up and up. I'm loving it. I was there to see, obviously, the Draymond stop, man, and was actually watching the game with a Warriors fan, a very close friend of mine, Warriors fan. He even couldn't really had nothing to say. I mean, we just both had to look back and be like, this is just what Draymond does. I think the craziest thing is just, I think it's been the battle back and forth, and everybody's kind of absolving Draymond of all his antics throughout both games. Him and Sabonis have been wrestling, jumping on one another.
Yeah.
And it just seems like I get it. They want to see him there, but we got to act like we can't like Sabonis has just been the aggressor since start.
Well, no, like I don't think Sabonis has been. Well, James, let's bring you on into this.
I do want to say one thing about that. Then James, absolutely want to hear what you got to say. But I'm not saying this from like an elitist point of view or whatever. But I do wonder if it came off on TV how it was in that building when that was happening. Like, you two were there, obviously. Mm-hmm. There was real heat in that building.
Yeah.
There was real heat in that building. And if you're watching it on TV, I don't know if it comes off the
same way. It was anger.
Way.
It wasn't fans booing. It was fans being pissed.
And once again, that goes to the point of Adam Silver being in the building and feeling what I'm sure everybody else felt. And it's not even just that situation. If you're at the game, because maybe something happens in the next two games, I won't be there. So, maybe somebody will see more than I will the next games. But if you're at the game, this stuff with Draymond started into the third, into the second.
Yeah, into the third with Malik.
Like, Draymond was like doing stuff from that point on. There was a couple of different things. There was a that call that they challenged that he bumped Sabonis out of bounds. They called offensive foul on him. Mm-hmm. Then they challenged it and all this other stuff. Looking back at it, I thought it was an offensive foul. But he was getting into it with the crowd then, talking crazy then, like during the timeout break. Like, being there for that moment, there was real heat going on in that moment. And then also, if you see, there were things preceding that in that game where it was like, yo, this dude, this is why, like I said, I called it, he was unhinged. He was completely unhinged.
Yeah, I think, he tries to play games the whole time, right? It's all about getting under people's skin. And what the Kings have done in this series is, number one, they've had more poise than the champs, which is bizarre. All we heard today was they've added another list of things to who they are this season, and they added the P word at the end. It's poised. And I thought that's what they talked about. Like, we have to be poised in this moment. We have to. That's what Harrison Barnes, when he pulled everyone over, he said, "Look, we've got to keep our composure. We have got to be poised. If we can be poised, we can be the ones that get out of this." Right. And I think it's interesting that Draymond, all of his antics are verbal, and they're physical and verbal, but they're also a lot of cheap shots, a lot of like poking and like doing things that are intentionally to agitate your opponent. The Kings are doing the same exact thing. They're just not saying anything. They're not escalating it with their words. Malik Monk is talking some trash, but Sabonis is going inside and just beating them down. And they feel it. They're feeling him like smashing into them, and like the hits that they're taking. It's legit. Everyone says the playoffs are going to be like more physical.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, let's crank it up. We got this. We'll be more physical. And that's what we're seeing. And, Draymond wants to talk a bunch of trash, but like, show up. That's what Sabonis did. He showed up. And the other thing I'll point out that I think is kind of missed in this, Sabonis got in foul trouble in that game. Like, he ended up with 5 fouls. I will make the claim, and like the NBA can disagree with me. I heard Eddie Johnson talking about, he thought that what Sabonis did was gamesmanship. It wasn't dirty per se. It wasn't meant to injure Draymond Green. And he said, but it was a technical. I'll make the claim of this. That wasn't a technical. It was a common foul. What elevated it to a technical was that Draymond pulled his foot out, raised his leg up, and then raised his leg another 4 inches to stomp down on Sabonis. Like, you can visually see it. So it becomes an act within an act, and it raises to technical status.
Mm-hmm.
If Draymond Green would have just shut up, would have just gone and played basketball, would have ignored the situation, that's a personal foul on Sabonis. That would have been number 5. He would have picked up number 6 a couple of minutes later, and he would have been gone, and the Kings would have had a difficult time winning that game. But it's always the antics. It's always over the top with him. And then Adam Silver sitting there. You can't miss Adam Silver. I looked, they list him at 6'3". I think he's way taller than 6'3". He does not have hair on top of his head. He's a very large, tall, slender man standing in the audience that just stands out. You saw him the whole time. He's watching his league, his game turn into a sideshow, and it's one person doing it.
Yep.
One person devolved that game into a flat out sideshow, and that there's no room for it. So I fully agree with the suspension. I said it yesterday on the pod before everything came out that I believed that even the reports that were coming out, we started hearing it in the locker room that night. Oh, the Warriors people, Draymond's people, they don't think he's getting suspended. They don't think.
And that's where we were speculating based on some things Shams tweeted later in the evening. He was getting his information directly from the Warriors.
Or directly from Draymond's people.
Or it could have been that. But greater point was he wasn't getting it from the league.
No, and then you had, like, even the last time that he got a technical, like his 16th or 7th, whatever, the one that got him suspended during the regular season. He goes out after the game. Oh, they're going to rescind that technical. Oh, he keeps trying to speak things into existence. And we've kind of talked about this before with DeMarcus Cousins. There came a point where DeMarcus Cousins' talent level dropped below what you would put up with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you had to put up with a lot of things for him, but when his talent was way up here and you had to put up with stuff that was up to here, you would deal with it. When there was a tipping point and his talent level was no longer equal to or greater than the trouble that you had to put up with for him to be part of your roster, then that's why he's not in the league anymore. Draymond Green has put himself in a situation where he really does not look like he's worth the trouble for the Golden State Warriors. Someone else might take a flyer on him, but he's done this stuff for so long when he was great. And is he still great? He's still a really good player. But when you start ratcheting down, there's this tipping point and people go, okay, look, I'm just not going to deal with this. He may have just cost them the first round of the playoffs.
Well, I'm not. So I get what you're saying. I'm not going to give you that because I just don't think he's good enough to cost them the first round of the playoffs. I'm not conceding that the Kings were going to win or lose that game, but I don't think they were going to win or lose based on whether Draymond Green was playing. I don't think they're winning or losing on Thursday based on whether Draymond or Green is playing, because I don't think he is that type of impact player anymore. If this was Steph Curry, the conversation would be completely different, but it's not. It's Draymond Green. He does a lot that I think is valuable for that team. He does a lot that I think hinders that team as well. I think the offense is going to look completely different tomorrow. I think the Sacramento Kings bench has to be incredible. And that's the damn shame about all of this is Kenny and I planned a show today to talk about basketball. And despite as much as we tried to avoid it, we've spent 3 freaking hours on this guy. And it's frustrating because Charles Barkley was right. The Sacramento Kings have been kicking the Golden State Warriors' ass because they're a better basketball team. They were a better basketball team for 82 games. They've been a better basketball for 2 games, a better basketball team for 2 games. Can they be a better basketball team for 2 more? That's the question, whether Draymond Green plays or not. Have you seen the Joe Dumars clip? Have you seen the Joe Dumars interview?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why Joe Dumars is doing a media circuit.
So here's Joe Dumars today. So Joe Dumars, who, by the way, apparently now, Team Kings. If you listen to the right radio stations, get the right reports. Joe with us. Clearly he was on NBA Today. Here's what Joe Dumars said.
Adrian Wojnarowski, that, quote, Draymond's excessive and over-the-top actions and his history as a, quote, repeat offender. They're both large factors in the league's decision to suspend him. So to be clear, if it was a different player with a different history, would he have been suspended here?
That's a possibility. Yes, that's a possibility that it could have been differently. You know, we look at each one of them when they come through, and we sit down and we pour through it. And yeah, Adrian and I had that conversation earlier, and I said that, like, it could be, it possibly could be, for sure.
So it could be that another player with this history would have been suspended, but how much was that levied in this situation? I'm just trying to understand here, why not a heavy fine to try to preserve the sanctity of competition?
So, it was debate throughout the office all day yesterday on this. It wasn't a quick or easy or light decision.
That was a hell of a question. A fine for the sanctity of competition. Ignore the act. Ignore what happened, but for the sake of God, let this guy continue to be a jackass. But for the sanctity of competition, because a guy who's averaging 4 points per game in this series, for the sanctity of competition, just levy a fine.
One person in this series has violated the sanctity of competition. One. That's it.
That was a hell of a question.
But you know what? This is what I talk about. This is why, number one, it always happens with him, and why he won't stop. Because there's always going to be somebody in the national media, in the local media out there, that will justify his actions.
Always.
And that will cater to his ego. Nobody gonna call him out. Nobody on the radio station, nobody on national media is gonna sit up there. Even if you don't think that the Kings are better, I'll give you that. Say the Kings aren't better. Nobody will look at Draymond and be like, "You cost your team. You cost them. You cost them a playoff win. Like, you did that." Nobody will do that. They'll talk about Sabonis being dirty. They're talking about, well, what else is he supposed to do? And all this other stuff. Nobody is going to come on any airwaves. I don't know why. I don't know if they're afraid of him, afraid of his family, or what. I don't know what it is. But nobody will come out here and be like, "Bro, you're dead wrong. Like, you can't do that. And you cost your team the game. Yeah, you got your point across. I guess you didn't want anybody touching your foot. Guess you got your point across. But at what expense? You cost us."
Well, that's good timing, because here's what Steve Kerr said on if there's a way to stop Draymond Green in a heated moment. Quote, "There's no stopping Draymond. You can't put your arm around him and say, okay, calm down. It's okay. We accept Draymond for who he is and what he stands for, because frankly, it makes us win."
Yeah, we'll put up with it because he helps us win.
An
I didn't like
unhinged maniac. That's what I heard. You can't console him. He's an unhinged maniac out there.
But yet, Draymond Green has convinced himself of this, and virtually your entire fan base has convinced themselves. You've convinced a lot of smart people in the media that the reason you lost in 2016 was because Draymond Green got suspended. But yet here we are in the playoffs again, and he's getting suspended. At what point is it, it's not worth it no more?
Joe, I'm telling you, there will be a moment where he's not there and they'll realize, because we had that moment in Sacramento. We did. And the season that DeMarcus got, that he got traded, we talked about it. As soon as it was over, the reflection was weird. We basically, look, in that season, he had got in 3 separate altercations with the media. He did one at training camp.
Mm-hmm.
He had the situation with Andy Ferrillo. He had the situation with Leo Bias. Now, each one of those situations are separate. I'm not going to say that some of those things weren't warranted. I'm just saying there's 3 separate situations where he got in a verbal altercation, yelling and screaming with the officials. With media members. He also got suspended for yelling F-bombs at a fan that was standing by the Vex owner suite, his owner loft.
Seats.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no, his loft, his little area that he has. In that season, he also got into the bar fight in New York City with Matt Barnes, which became like a big deal. In that season, before he got traded, he had 15 technicals. And when you get to the 55 game mark of the season and a player gets traded, and you're like, oh man, to everyone there, it was like, he's been so much better this season. He's been so much better. And then you look back at the season, and it wasn't even a full season. It was 2/3 of a season, And he had done more in 2/3 of a season than any player in the league that I could think of. And in most instances, any of those players' entire careers, most players don't have nearly as much as happened in that season in their entire career. And we saw it in 55 games. And you started to wonder, do we have Stockholm syndrome? Have we just been like sitting here, like you just keep letting go of the rope a little bit, saying, okay, we'll deal with it's just DeMarcus being DeMarcus. And you just keep adding it up and you just keep saying, okay, well, it wasn't that bad. And by the end of it, you don't realize that your standard for what is acceptable has been degraded so far by an individual that you lose your path in the same way that I think that some of the folks down there have lost their path. So
you're listening to D-Lo and KC on KIFM West Sacramento 98.5 FM, KRXQ HD2 Sacramento, ESPN 1320. Always live on the free Odyssey app, live in visual form as well on twitch.tv/ESPN 1320, youtube.com/ESPN 1320. Reminder, we're hosting a watch party at Public House tomorrow for game number 3. And then on Sunday for the primetime ABC joint, we'll be back home at Sky River Casino, hosted by Empress Gin inside 32 Brew Street. Lighting the beam, baby, all day. We'll be serving up our Light the Beam cocktails, one of our many cocktails put together by Empress Gin. That's coming up on Sunday. We hope that you will come hang out with us. If you weren't able to be a part of our live show at Sky River Casino, it is a beautiful facility, 70-plus televisions inside Sky River Casino. Won't be a bad seat in the house. Come watch basketball with D-Lo and KC.
Good time.
So Draymond Green is out tomorrow. Do you think that changes the game at all for the Golden State Warriors? Like, how do you envision that changing for the Golden State Warriors with him out tomorrow?
I think it's a tremendous problem because they don't have enough depth at the center position as it is. And while we can say that he's not the player he was before, he was part of the reason why Domantas Sabonis went 5 of 17 from the field in game 1.
Yeah.
He was tremendous defensively, and he is their defensive leader. And the other thing I'm going to tell you, you watch the Warriors, you watch them play against the Kings, you watch them play because they're on national TV like 40 something times, right? I think we missed that one of the biggest issues that team has is playmaking. And you take away Draymond Green and his ability to play make, it leaves you with one playmaker. That's it. You got one playmaker. Klay Thompson, he's not a playmaker. Wiggins, he's not a playmaker. Jordan Poole, that guy's not a playmaker. It's Steph. That's all you got. So if you have to take the ball out of his hands in order to make him be a playmaker for you, like I need to see Dante DiVincenzo. That might be what we see is Dante DiVincenzo re-entered the starting lineup and they push Wiggins to the floor because that kind of makes sense anyways. But like, what do they do when Looney's out of the game? What do they do if Looney gets in foul trouble? If he gets 3 first half fouls, holy cow.
It's Michael Green time.
Well, like who walks into the playoffs with no backup center? Like if you had hopes to go to the finals, you just assume that you're going to be able to get Jokic in bad switches and he won't be playable for 35 minutes a game. Like, what was your plan? So I'm confused about the roster construction. I know they're up against it as far as money.
They don't have Alex Len like we do.
They don't.
They ain't got no Alex Len.
They don't have Chimezie Metu.
Well, they ain't got that either.
No, I mean, like they don't have a Rashawn Holmes. Like sure, the Kings are big, heavy, but that they don't have an answer. So what do you do if there's foul trouble? I don't know. Like,
isn't that funny? Because wouldn't Rashawn work there?
I've been said it a long
Didn't we talk about that? I felt like Rashawn would have worked.
I said, why didn't you trade him straight up for Wiseman? Like, give the Kings a young guy to work with and give them a veteran guy that knows how to play in the pick and roll.
Perfect.
I would have took him for Wiseman. I would have took him for Moody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? One of those guys. I would have.
Yeah.
I would have.
Like Rashawn, but we just understand, Rashawn's not playing here. Right. Like, we were trying to find a home for him, and Golden State was a team.
Some playing time.
Yeah, it felt like it.
Yeah.
Felt like it worked.
Yeah.
Now we're on the verge of JaMychal Green in a playoff game.
What's his name? Anthony Lamb might play.
I think that's James's guy.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. I feel like their offense. My feeling about tomorrow's game is the offense is going to move a little bit faster, and they're going to do everything they can to ignite that whatever that crowd looks like and get up early. They shot 53s in game 1, 43s in game number 2, and I think we see something, if not at the 53 marker, north of the 53 marker. I think that's what we're going to see. And Sacramento, because I wonder, and James, maybe you weigh in on this. Does Sacramento go straight at Kevon Looney? Is it Domas? We saw them open up 0 for 10, 1 for 13 from behind the arc. Do they? Obviously, I'm not suggesting they don't take open looks, but do they make it a point to go down low to start the game?
Oh, they're going to attack. They're going to, I don't even think go down low.
Attack the basket?
Attack the basket. Attack the rim because, I mean, again, Draymond's not a shot blocker, but he gets in the way. And people don't want to go inside on him because you never know what he's going to do. I mean, we've seen enough of that. Like, there is a healthy fear of what will happen if you go in hard, at the basket. So I'm kind of the opinion that you play your game, you play your subs, you do whatever it is that you're going to do, like they have every single step of the way in this series, and you force the Warriors to figure it out. Because I remember them just destroying Luka Doncic last year in the playoffs. Like, they singled him out, and they got switches onto him, and they just systematically destroyed him. No Kings players getting picked on right now. I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
there's not a single Kings player. Keegan Murray hasn't played well at all. He's been okay defensively. He hasn't got picked on the whole series. He's only playing 16 minutes, but in those 16 minutes, you don't see them like switch. Oh, we got Keegan Murray. Let's go. You don't see it with Herter. There have been teams that have picked on Herter during the season. I don't know what it is.
Seen it over there, though.
Yeah.
I felt like we saw it with Jordan. I felt like they went at Jordan Poole.
The Kings did.
Yeah. I felt like we saw that. I felt like they were gunning for Jordan Poole.
On both ends of the court, too. That's the other thing. When they see Jordan Poole with the ball, game on. They are going right at him, attacking him. And let's not pretend like Jordan Poole hasn't flopped all over the place in the first 2 games. Some of the stuff he's tried to pull, that gets under your skin. Like, hey, man, how about you bring some substance? Like, at what point are you going to bring some substance? Because I haven't seen it yet. Malik Monk, he's brought the substance.
Yeah.
He's brought it.
Yeah.
Like, there is so much to what he's doing. You're not seeing it from their third leading scorer, 20-point per game guy.
Wow.
Kings are getting it from their 5th leading scorer.
And to your point, Damian, what you talked about, James, you talked about it as well. I agree with you. I think they're going to let them threes fly because in reality, that's the only way they can win.
Well,
that's all they have is let's try and score 22. Let's try and hit 22 threes tonight.
This from Marcus Thompson. And Kevon Looney just may have destroyed like 90% of Warriors media with this quote. Looney said Sabonis's physicality is just normal big man stuff. Pushing, shoving, grabbing, elbows. Looney said he loves it. Hopes to get benefit of the doubt from the refs in game 3.
Looney not a crier.
Oh,
Looney a real
some of y'all going to have to find something else to talk about tomorrow because your center just shot it down.
Shut it down. Yeah.
Looney not a crier, man. These dudes be crying out here. Looney a real one, man. He just talk. Looney just hoop, man. He just hoop. So he ain't about all that other stuff. Not about all that. But yeah, on the Warriors end, that's all they got is that 3-point shot. And they've got a great one with the Splash Brothers and Jordan Poole and Wiggins and things of that nature.
And a Warriors fan would make the argument they haven't shot it well. 32% in both.
Yeah. So that's what they got. They're not going to start attacking the basket. I loved when they were like, they were in the bonus in game 1. Like, why didn't they just attack the basket? That's not what they do. They shoot threes. They take them thirsty threes. Like, that's who you are. That's in your DNA. That's your blood. Like, they're going to continue to do that. They're not going to attack the basket. They're not doing that. They don't have those players who do that on a consistent basis. Another thing that's been interesting, and I wonder, James, maybe you can answer this for me. I wonder if it has something to do with the Kings and their pace and the way they play, maybe the physicality. I think it's more the up and down nature and the pressure they put on you offensively. But we've seen in these fourth quarters, the Warriors shooting go way down. you know, and Andrew Wiggins is one guy that comes to mind. He played really well for 3 quarters in game 1, and I think he was 0-4 from the field, all 3-pointers in the fourth quarter. And I think the other night he was 1 of 6 or 1 of 9 in the fourth quarter after he played phenomenal in the 3 quarters leading up to that. He was really good, but the legs seem to be leaving him in that fourth quarter.
He doesn't have his energy yet. Like, he's showing that he's fresh, but there's a big difference between being fresh and being in shape. Like, his legs, he's got spring. He's like, oh, this is exciting. He looks lean. He looks really, really fast. And then he wears out. And that's why I told you guys in the beginning, like, if Wiggins makes it to the second round, they're going to be a problem. He's going to be a problem. But he's got to get there. Like, he needs 6 games, 8 games to get his flow back. I mean, he missed a third of the season. He missed 25 games. He sat out. Well, he only played 37 overall, but he missed the final 25.
He missed more time, yeah.
And he wasn't there. That's the other thing, that the key to all of this. It's one thing to miss games because you're injured and you can go down, but you're still at practice every day. You're still with the training staff every day. You're still with the medical staff. You're having conversations with your teammates. You're working. You're part of the game plan. You're watching. You're learning. You're part of film study. All of that stuff. He's just been gone, and that's really hard to replace. Like that. I'm not knocking Wiggins at all because it's a personal issue. He's got to go, but we can't. Like, they can't expect him to be the player he has been right off the bat. Just like I told you, Gary Payton II does not look right. Like, he doesn't look like he's healthy, and he's out there fighting and doing what he can. But
out there grabbing people's legs.
The Kings,
imagine
the Kings are putting Alex Len on him and going, all right, Alex Len is defending you. Like, I don't know if that's what that says about your game, but it's not great because your team now can't get to the basket because there's a 7'1" Ukrainian standing there ready for you. Like, and they don't know what to do.
Who's made you pay for it already this series?
Like,
and even in his 10 minutes, 11 minutes per game.
Yeah. I also thought it was interesting. Like, the Warriors just gave up in the final, 70 seconds. Like, they threw up some haymakers. They threw up some crazy stuff. Just like,
felt like they knew.
Wow, you guys know. But
which is why tomorrow's game is so fascinating for a number of reasons. I think we could talk about the Warriors' history all we want to. Like, the Warriors know what they are this year. Warriors are capable. Casey said it earlier. Warriors are capable of winning the next 2. They're capable of winning the next 4. What I do wonder is if the Sacramento Kings do win tomorrow, what does game 4 look like? Because that's a game where I feel like, are they going to go out with just a sputter? Like, you talk about quitting the last 70 seconds. Do they quit the last 30 minutes?
It's interesting. I was with at the media session today. Jason Anderson said, hey, look, teams that go down 3-0 in a series are 0-108 historically. There's never been a team to go down 3-0 and come back and win. Now, I'm not putting anything past this Warriors team. Like, this team still has juice in it. But I'll tell you, if you were playing the Memphis Grizzlies and something like that happened and you're down by 6 in the last 70 seconds or 8, they will give you everything they have for every single one of those ticks. They will not stop. They will foul you. They will stop the clock. They will get big buckets. They will attack the rim. They will go coast to coast and score in 5 seconds and then say, all right, let's go. That's where I was like, oh, wow. This moment, the Warriors are the team that said, okay, we're good. Almost like, go ahead and put in the subs. I was like, holy cow. So I was impressed at the battle, the fight that the Kings put up. Like, being in the building while all of that happened with Draymond. I mean, you guys were there. It's just
wild.
It's just absolutely wild. I've never seen anything like that. It's not talked about nearly enough that he stood up on the chairs and was grabbing his crotch and yelling profanity at the crowd the whole time. That in itself could have earned a suspension.
Part of me wonders if it did.
Do you think? Yeah. Do you think they would have let it go if it wasn't for the stuff afterwards?
No. I watched it. That was a violent act against a player on the court. He like, again, I watched him raise his leg up and was like, okay, I got my foot loose. And then he lifted another like 4 to 6 inches and dropped it.
Looking directly at him.
And then pushed off of it and did, like Sean called it, the Mario jump. Like, that's what it was. Like, boing, boing. Like,
catapult himself over.
Like, what are you doing there? And, someone said, oh, man, why is his sternum? You just stepped on his abs. It's like, dude, that guy has like a size 17 foot. I mean, people don't know how big that is.
But he chest bumped, James. Didn't you see him chest bump? He dunked, James. Did you not see him dunk? God,
the dude has played with a broken bone in his thumb all season long, taped up. He is an absolute warrior.
No, he's the dirtiest player in the game.
Dirtiest player in the game.
Now all of a sudden, he's
James,
Ric Flair, 1986.
You've been around the league. You talked a lot. Have you ever heard anybody say Domantas Sabonis is a dirty player?
No, tough as nails. Tough. And he brings it.
He's using the ball as a weapon.
But somehow the Golden State Warriors and their media have discovered it.
Oh,
they've discovered what nobody else discovered in his entire career.
Sherlock Bonte.
They've discovered that Domantas Sabonis is a dirty player. Come on, man.
Yeah. I mean, I've been so impressed with everything. And I'll also say this too. Like, we're not going to break anytime soon.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
Do you need to go to the bathroom, James?
No. I've been hard on Davion Mitchell quite a few times.
Yes,
and even in this series, I told you guys last week coming into this series, he's not a guy that I thought could chase Steph because he has not shown that ability. He is really good when the ball's in front of him. He's not really good when he's playing off ball on the defensive end. I was wrong. The way he's played has been absolutely spectacular. What he did in this game. And I'm
can you stop right there for a second? I just want our friends. Yeah, I just want our friends who are listening to this. Did you see what James just did? He just said he was wrong.
I was wrong.
And James is about to explain. You see how easy that is?
Wrong.
It's not hard.
You see how easy he did it? Rewind it if you need to hear it again. Yeah. Hey, I was wrong. Now, if I wouldn't have interrupted him, I just didn't want people to miss that moment. If I wouldn't have interrupted him, James is going to explain why he was wrong. Watch how easy that. Journalist, study this act you just saw right here. James, forgive me.
Okay. I'm going to give Mike Brown some huge praise here because, look, the way that game one went was De'Aaron Fox. All we did was praise him. He puts up 38 points, but the real question was, how good were you defensively? Because that was it. What he did to Steph Curry, the way he made him work. I mean, you gave up 30 points to one of the great players of all time. You scored 38, which is amazing, but he chased him in the first quarter and the fourth quarter. And I thought to myself, okay, this is going to be the series. It's going to be De'Aaron Fox versus Steph Curry. They're going to go at it each and every night. And then Mike Brown just pulls a switch. Nope, that's not what we're doing this game. This game, Davion Mitchell is going to chase Steph Curry. And I was like, well, this is weird. I'm watching, they insert Wiggins in the starting lineup, and you're watching De'Aaron Fox defend Wiggins and do a great job. But the switch, it was like, okay, you found something that worked and was magical in game one. Mike's not playing checkers. And the fact that Davion Mitchell stepped up and even hit that big three, that was incredible, but was really good overall. That's the deal with this team. Like, Trey Lyles didn't have the 16-point game. It was Davion with 13 points. That was the other guy that gave you something that you didn't expect. I just don't see it from the Warriors. They don't have that guy that can go and get you something that you haven't already got from him. And again, I think Davion was incredible. The way that he fought through screens, the way that I watched every single time they came down, Davion would pick Steph up in the backcourt. Steph never got a clean look from 30 feet, from 35 feet. And that's how he breaks your spirit.
Yeah.
He hits those lasers from so far outside, and you're just like, what do we even do? Every single time they were coming down court, if Steph was loose, you would see Harrison Barnes yelling and screaming to stop ball, stop Steph now. Everyone goes to him. They would run at him, and you're like, okay, they're not going to let Steph beat him. Now, if this team is going to lose, it's going to be, if the Kings are going to lose like game 3, it's going to be because Steph scores 50. But he could score 50, they could still lose. the Warriors could still lose because the Kings are that versatile. They have that many scorers. They're that good offensively. It's a good series, but the chess match, the way that Mike switched it up, now what do the Warriors do in game 3? Because you're game planning for two totally different types of players. If Davion is defending Steph or if De'Aaron Fox is defending Steph. We saw Kevin Huerter defend Steph. We saw Harrison Barnes. They threw so many different looks at him. Like, it's not one look the whole game. It's something different all the time. And to me, it's just absolutely brilliant coaching.
One of the things
from your coach of the year in about an hour, by the way.
Yeah.
One of the things that I noticed about that strategy that I love is when you look at Steph Curry, follow me along here. There's only one Steph Curry. I got 3 guys that can guard him. And what I mean by that is, this is an old adage I'd use in my coaching situation. It probably works a little better in like travel ball in high school than the NBA. But what you do is you take the point guard, and this really works when they don't have another ball handler, which nobody's talking about. The Warriors don't. You take Steph Curry in this case, and you say, De'Aaron, pick him up full court. And you let De'Aaron do it for about 5 minutes. And I'm not going to wear De'Aaron down. I'm like, all right, what we call is it's the one. Like, it's 51. And the one is the person that's picking up the person full court. And I'm like, all right, De'Aaron, you're not the one no more. Davion, you're the one. And you keep rotating fresh legs on Steph. There's only one Steph Curry. Steph Curry don't get the break that De'Aaron gets. He don't get the break from going full court that Davion gets. It's constant all game long. Davion, pick him up. Oh, Davion, you just let me know when you're winded. Tell me. I'll get the other guy on there to be the one. Just let me know, because I want a fresh body on him all the time. And while the defenders are getting a fresh body, there's only one Steph Curry. He's not getting the same break that these defenders are. And I feel like that's something that Mike is doing. And it's starting to, I think it affects these guys in the fourth quarter. I think it affects that Steph Curry, who, made some great shots in game 1. I think in the last 2 fourth quarters, if I have this math correct, he's 3 of 11 from beyond the arc in the fourth quarter of the first 2 games. He's worn down. He's forced into tough shots. He's got a guy that usually he does the wearing down because they're tired of guarding him all night long. Well, I'm just rotating Monk, Fox, and Mitchell on him. And Harrison Barnes. Harrison Barnes is getting a look. You're just rotating those guys, and he's getting drained, but those other guys are continuing to just come on him when he's fresh. That was wild.
That was. It's a hell of a way to finish that synopsis right there.
I missed it.
No, thank goodness you did, because you're an adult. That's why, James. You missed it because you're an adult. Kenny is not. Kenny is a sophomore. You caught it. No, I caught it, and I kept a straight face until you turned to look at Jesse and said, that's wild. Poor James Ham here is a broadcast journalist trying to do a radio show, and you just gave this great spiel that you
can't clip that.
Just hit us with an Ayo. But I do, despite your odd ending to that, I do love your point. There's only one guy. You've got multiple different guys that you can throw at him. I did think, man, there were Clay showed some signs in game 2 where it's like, oh no.
He hit those 2 threes on the wing.
Yeah.
On the deep wing.
And that was just a reminder of how long he is, how difficult he is to guard because of his size. And then, of course, he's a tremendous shooter. And all of this is with the Kings shooting well under their norm as a 3-point shooting team, which is, again, I think the Warriors can make the same argument. But I don't know how many people are looking at the Kings missing threes going, well, they're being really well defended by Golden State, which I believe in some cases they are. I don't think it's necessarily affecting their 3-point shots, other than maybe they have to move around a little bit more than they might normally have to. But I think that's what all Kings fans are waiting for. It might be all what Warriors fans are waiting for too, from their respective teams, is for that 3 to start dropping.
Well, yeah, but the problem that if you're the Warriors and you just lost Draymond for this game, he's been the guy who's been disrupting the flow at the top of the key, the DHO, all that stuff. He's the one who's been up there. They've been sagging Looney back to the middle. And I don't know how they slow down the Kings offense. It's going to be a problem. Like, Draymond is still a really, really smart defender. He
No, I
might not
understand.
have the same athleticism
Mhm.
that he once had. He might not be as great one-on-one, but like the Kings are going to get loose. One of these games, the Kings are going to shoot 9 of 38. They shot 23.7 from three.
Mhm.
One of these games they're going to hit 20. One of these games they're going to hit 18.
Mhm.
And what do you do then?
Mhm.
Because this team is nearly unstoppable when that happens. And the one I'll circle, I don't want to see De'Aaron Fox go 2 of 10. Like, I'm okay with Kevin Huerter going 2 of 9. I don't want to see De'Aaron Fox going 2 of 10. He's hit some big shots, but
is it that you don't want him taking 10 shots, or you want the shot? I mean, obviously you want the shots to fall, but was your point more that you don't want him shooting that many threes?
I want the point at the paint touches. He
Okay.
needs to get to
Yeah,
the paint.
got
He
you.
needs to score more twos. He needs
I got
to
you.
not only that, but the spray three for his teammates.
Mhm.
He needs to find those, and he can, and he will. Like, but when he runs at the basket, everything collapses. And Keegan Murray, and not only is Keegan not, he hasn't played well, but I mean, he went 0 for 1 in this last game. He didn't even really get opportunities, and that's a problem. So he needs more opportunities. They need to help him get involved.
So do you? Okay, that's a. Do you need to create opportunities for Keegan?
No, you need to do what you did all season long. You need your offense to flow like it has. The Kings have beat the Warriors 2 games in a row without their offense being what their offense has been all season. It's just not the same. Like, the DHO has been blown up by these guys. They've taken away a lot of the 3-point line and the DHO. And the Kings have responded by going to pick and rolls and doing all kinds of damage. But they've never really used Keegan Murray in the pick and roll. So he's kind of left out of what's happening. And that's fine. Even Harrison Barnes, to a lesser extent, has been left out of what's happening. But they'll make adjustments. And as soon as the offense starts flowing the way that it does normally, which, again, I think it will without Draymond on the court, you're going to start seeing opportunities for him. Again, like, it's not that he did something wrong, but seeing Davion Mitchell take 10 shots and Keegan Murray take 1, that's not what you expect.
Yeah.
Like, Davion should be more like 6 to 7 shots per game, and Keegan should be more like 10 to 12. He's that good of a shooter. So we're going to see that game where Huerter starts launching, where Keegan Murray starts launching, and then it could devolve into a shootout for sure, because they've got great shooters as well. But the Kings have just been really good defensively.
James Ham with us. We'll come back. James was at practice today. We'll talk about that. I know you talked to De'Aaron Fox. We'll get some insight there. The NBA Clutch Player of the Year award. We'll come back. We'll talk more Kings basketball here on Dealing with KC, brought to you by Sky River Casino. Get in on the action. Sky River Casino is the place to play with over 2,000 of the newest slot machines and over 80 table games. Sky's the limit if you're 21 and over at Sky River Casino here on Sacramento Sports Leader ESPN 1320. Hit the thumbs up while you're here, too, please. Thumbs up, subscribe, do all of that stuff. Had a nice little growth in subscribers this week. We appreciate you, Dub Nation. Thanks for being with us. Yeah, it was funny because we had just did a segment on it. But yeah, we got it. Thank you. Nah, hey, get that work in, baby. I see the clips already up. That's what's up. Let's see where we at. 384. Let's get it. Let's at minimum get above 400. We're at 384 right now. That should be easy work. Truthfully, we should be at 5. We being real with each other, we should be at 5.
I agree.
Let's hit the thumbs up. Why is there so much? Why, Zach? What is it with the pants off?
It's weird. It's some weird
Zach?
Warrior stuff.
All day it's been, the last couple of days has been the weird pants off stuff.
It really
some
has.
Weird Warrior stuff, man. Some weird Dubs fan stuff.
No, I think it was. Yeah,
there's some weird.
Well, it might be the way you ended your.
Well,
I think he's trying to be funny.
That was crazy. You missed.
Kind of awkward.
Jesse.
I know. When I'm cutting
weird.
stuff, I'm only listening for cuss words and breaks.
Someone asked
Oh,
too.
yeah, you gotta cut it. You missed the end of my explanation.
Oh, Chris Herrera here. What are my thoughts on starting? Why would you start Davion? Like, not to be offensive, like why?
No, you don't need to make any changes.
You don't need to make any changes. Like, the way you change is by playing guys different minutes and different time slots and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Davion deserved his 28 minutes last game. And then he came up with that tremendous 3. Tremendous.
That was big time.
Yeah. And Malik Monk has earned every single one of his 31 minutes. As long as he continues to be this Malik Monk and we don't see the funky one that shows up every once in a while. But the Kings can withstand that because they have other players that can step up into that position, and you can come back on his minutes very easily.
Wait.
Send them to me.
Did everybody? They about to come on here? Y'all, hey man, Warriors fans in here making complaints.
Oh.
Calling
the manager.
Call for the manager.
They're calling the manager.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Warriors fans in here calling for the
They calling the manager.
I was like,
Bonte,
okay,
you
look.
listening?
I was like,
they calling us Karens, and Warrior fans in here calling for the manager.
Oh, hate to see it.
Dude calls in. I want to make a complaint. All right, let me get my boss's email.
Who do they want to make a complaint to?
I don't know, James.
Oh, I
About
love
what?
it. I love it. The Golden State Karens.
Truth hurts.
My man said, I want to speak with your manager. Oh, Ja's out tonight.
Yep.
That's fine. Wait till he puts 2 and 2 together and figures that out.
Do we have an assistant to the regional manager?
No, I want to hear what this
Oh, yeah.
complaint is. Definitely
Yeah.
give it to Damien.
Yeah.
I would like to hear. I would like to send this to the assistant to the regional manager.
James.ham@odyssey.com.
We reading that email.
Oh,
We
yeah.
reading that on there.
Oh, yeah.
John Morant has been ruled out.
Bonte, your fan base is broken, bro.
What is happening?
Oh, goodness. Here's the good news. I can tell this to the, nearly 800 people watching. Tell my partners this. We got a hell of a show planned tomorrow.
That's a lot going on.
Well, it's almost done because everything we planned today as it pertains to professional basketball got shelved.
Oh.
The whole show.
Well, super baddie Thursday.
Shit we gave a lot of thought to got shelved.
Had some numbers.
Man.
Send them the email. Make your complaint.
I love it. Hey, do just tag both of us.
Yeah,
I need to see it.
Yeah, whatever. I'll give him a fake email that I'll create so I can see this.
Wait, he's making a complaint?
Oh, I love this so much.
Says he got cussed out on air.
Oh, hate to see it. Hate to see it.
By who?
Hold on. Let me, probably by us. What was... Is it Alex? Alex. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it. Oh, best we coming back for some smoke with Alex.
Was Alex on the air?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was on the air.
He was dumb. He was like, hey, you guys have said this. And Kenny was like, well, when? When did we say? Oh, I don't keep receipts. Then get the hell off my radio show.
He got cursed out. Oh man, I need that email, man. Boy, we were reading that joint.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Temecula, baby.
Oh, Bonte, your fan base is broken, bro.
We got Warriors fans calling to make complaints.
They're calling the manager. D'Lo and Casey weren't nice to me on the radio. Oh, Alex is upset. He called and said something stupid. Kenny told him to go away. Now he's calling the manager.
I haven't got one of those calls in a while.
Oh, call the manager, Alex.
He said he was one of the big bosses.
Boy, and let me tell you something. Your boys down south are over west, southwest,
West. Yeah.
Over west, isn't it southish, westish?
Yeah.
West.
You better tell them they better go ahead and retire their little Sacramento Karens line. Because ain't no Kings fan ever called the manager on your radio show.
Bruh, the Warriors fans then called the manager.
Oh, they're so deep. Look, they see this, again, whether it's Sacramento or it's somebody else, they see it coming to an end, and it hurts them so bad.
Bad.
They don't know how to deal with
Bad.
this.
They were so sure.
They're so scared because Steph is 35.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the greatest of all time. They're scared. Poverty is right in front of them.
Jesse, you said what was going to happen with Steph gone.
They're all right. They got Jordan Poole.
Jesse already told him what was going to happen with Steph gone.
NBA's going to look at him, say, you're broken. I don't want to play with you no more.
No more. They shouldn't even tell you. They should do like that TNT spot did. It ain't even the Golden State Warriors versus the Sacramento Kings on national television anymore. It's Stephen Curry versus the Sacramento Kings. Because when Steph gone, you gone. And there ain't going to be another move. There ain't going to be another game from the Chase Center on our network in a long time.
Hey, Jesse, what is it with the Warriors right now? What is Stephen who?
Oh, Steph and some dudes.
It's way funnier off the air because he says it so different.
Yeah,
off the air.
It's better when it's in the moment.
It's way better off the air, but it's Steph Curry and some dudes right now over there on the Golden State Warriors.
Remember when Steph had after that Pelicans game or whatever, and they talked to Draymond, and he was like, "Yeah, this is what I do. I hype up my guys, and this is what I do or whatever." And he says all that. Stan Van comes back, and he's like, "Hey, Stephen Curry is amazing. Make no bones about it. It is Stephen Curry that is the reason why this is happening. These other guys, respect to him, but it's all about Steph Curry."
Yeah. Stan Van is not here for your nonsense, Draymond.
No.
Hey, real quick before we get into our
shout
discussion.
out to Alex, man.
Yeah,
make that a good email because we're reading it.
Yeah, shoot the email, big dog.
On the air.
Clutch Points
Mm-hmm.
On Twitter. They have the clip of JJ Redick, what we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
The referees, all this other stuff, and all his complaining, and the quote: "The refs have dictated too much in the Kings' favor in this series." I really believe that.
Hmm.
Big Perk, Kendrick Perkins.
Oh,
quote tweet: "This is the biggest bunch of BS I've heard all week." Real talk. Shout out Big Perk.
I totally agree. I don't know how Perk is on your side now. How have the Kings?
Perk been riding with the Kings though.
For like 2 weeks. But how have you pulled in Perk?
I do think Perk turned heel on the Kings recently.
I mean,
all of them when it came to prediction time.
Oh, that's true.
Like the media bandwagon. I didn't know that there was much more room when Charles Barkley got on it, and then Big Perk, and then Stephen A. Smith. Like, I don't know what's happening here. I don't like.
They're a good basketball team, and a lot of those people, James, are seeing the Sacramento Kings for the very first time. Stephen A. Smith saw the Sacramento Kings play basketball on Saturday night and lost his damn mind. It's like, I ain't seen nothing like this before. The Golden State Warriors are in trouble. Wow. All right.
I like when he does, it's big time when he gets, they're in trouble.
Oh, yeah. No, his let me tell you something right now. I owe the Sacramento Kings an apology. That is a good basketball.
Everyone is drawn in.
And that boy Mike Brown got them playing. I'll tell you that right now. Mike Brown, he's going to be coach of the year, James. He's going to be coach of the year in just about an hour from right now.
This is good stuff.
You were at practice today. I know you talked to NBA Clutch Player of the Year. How De'Aaron seems like he is, and I don't think it seems like he absolutely is locked in. How was De'Aaron today?
Yeah, I think he got 91 first place votes for the Clutch Player of the Year. He received 5 second or third place votes from the other media members, but there were 4 who left him off. I think De'Aaron Fox might pull up to each of their houses and just say hi and just say, like,
he was upset.
What were you thinking?
Oh, I love it.
He was just like, I'm not going to use it as motivation, but like, it's very possible you need to have your ability to vote revoked. Like, how in the world am I not one of the top 3? Like, unless you didn't turn in your ballot, like, how does he not get into the top 3?
That is crazy right there.
It's crazy. So yeah, he was fun. I think a lot of good questions. Sort of the question about, do you think that you're better this year, or do you think that like the team success has led to these personal accolades? And I think both him and Mike Brown both answered the same way. Like, I think it's both. He is a little bit better He certainly is more efficient. Like he shot 51% from the field, something like that. But and then his fourth quarter stuff is by itself. But I think he understands that, like, the work he put in with Luke Laux, with Rasay, with the coaching staff early, with the team early, really has paid off. It's paid huge dividends for him. And he's kind of reaping the benefits from the team success, but also because he was part of that team success. He was good. And so, yeah, it's a good moment for him. And then we had this great moment where Gary Gerould, who is, it's legendary Gary Gerould, and he's in the back of the media scrum, and he yelled at the end of the press conference something like, "Are you still effing nice?" And it was like, wait, he didn't say the F word, folks.
Okay, that's what I was asking. That's 100% what I needed to know.
But all of us like, wait, what just happened? And so it was this great moment, and I was reminded of it because Gary just tweeted out a picture. They've got 6 CHP officers escorting the team bus with their motorcycle, like a motorcade, down to the Bay Area right now. The team bus is going down, and their CHP motorcycles driving with them the whole way. So they're getting like the top notch, the 5-star treatment from CHP. I was going to, tell the guy who's complaining that you might want to also reach out for misappropriation of California Highway Patrol funds, that for some reason the Kings are getting preferential treatment, that clearly the Warriors would never have police escorts.
Yeah, they definitely didn't have 12 CHP officers driving them down the other day.
Yeah,
that's definitely what these Warrior fans do. They cry, complain, and now they make complaints. But that's their resume.
I love
They call the manager.
They call the manager. Warriors fans want to speak to the manager. This is not what we were promised. We were told we were legacy.
That's funny.
We were told we were legacy. Now no one cares about us.
We were told we were legacy.
I wish you would have lied at the end of that story and said that Gary Gerould actually
just
said,
dropped an
"Are
F-bomb.
you effing?" Oh, that just would have made
while swirling a cocktail. Like 2 things you'll never see Gary Gerould do: drop an F-bomb or have a drink.
Well, he'll have a nice meal though. Every city he goes, he'll have.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's going to eat good in San Francisco.
And he takes in plays. That's the other thing.
Okay.
He likes to do the culture stuff.
Anything else from practice noteworthy?
The Harrison Barnes stuff was interesting. Like Harrison Barnes was asked about, the moments where things were going sideways and everything, and he pulled everyone together. And like it's just he's not surprised. I don't think anyone is totally just caught off guard. This is who they've been all year, and they just kind of like they're going about their business. I don't think that they think that the Warriors are going to lay down, that they've got this series under wraps. None of that stuff. It's just they're ready for the next step in their journey, and every single opportunity, whether they win or they lose, is a chance to get better and to grow and to learn something new about yourself. And to just kind of like have these moments with these guys where they're enjoying the ride. They're enjoying the fact that Draymond Green lost it and now, he won't be there. Like, would they rather him be there and play it straight up? Maybe. But they also would rather their all-star center not get stomped on. So there's a certain amount of like disrespect that this team felt from the whole entire incident. And I think that you're going to see that. I think you're going to see it play out. I also think that you're going to walk in a Chase Center, and it's not going to be 98-2 or 95-5 Kings to Warriors fans like in it was in Sacramento.
Yeah,
there's going to be a lot of Kings fans.
I think so too.
Kings fans are going to fill up that building, and like they're not going to take over, but if there's a way they're winning,
yeah, I was going to say they'll take over if they go up.
You're going to hear that "Light the Beam" chant on the champs' home court. If it happens, that's going to be wild. And then we're going to have to hear someone will call in and file a complaint because the Kings fans were disrespectful. They were disrespectful. They said "light the beam" in our building.
They very well may.
Complaints be coming from the Warrior.
No
fans,
cowbells
boy.
though. No cowbells
No
allowed.
cowbells.
Did you see that video of the guy ringing the cowbell with Bob Meyer?
I did see that.
I did.
Oh my goodness.
So I just happened to glance over at Twitter. I don't know who to credit for this, if Kevin Fippen or someone else. There is, in the Sacramento Kings app, there is a cowbell noisemaker.
You can go ding 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 ding. Yes.
So if you are going to the Chase Center, download the Sacramento Kings app and abide by the rules of the Chase Center. Leave the cowbells at home, but download the Sacramento Kings app, search through it, and see if you can find anything fun.
Interesting.
It's going to take a lot of phones, though.
It's going to
take a lot of phones to pick up that noise, though.
A lot of phones.
Yeah.
Hey, if the Warriors are able to get this series back, in their, under control or in their favor or whatever, is there anything other than threes that they can do, in your opinion, James?
I don't know. We went through their game one stats, right? And almost everything that they did in game one was exactly who they were the entire season. They hit 16 threes. Their average is 16.6 on the season. It usually doesn't take 50 to get that. It usually takes like 40, 45, 46. But I think that there's a lot of things that they came in that they might have had an advantage on that they have not been able to take control of, like the rebounding numbers. The Kings have been the better rebounding team in the series, especially on the offensive glass. We talked about game one. It was 17 offensive boards. They came back with 12 in game two. That's still huge. Transition. The Kings have beat them in transition, which is stunning. You go down the list, all of these things. The Warriors have been like the worst turnover team in the league all season long. So when they turn the ball over 20 times or 22 times, it's not a huge, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. We blew a game because we turned the ball over. You turn the ball over all season long. That's who you are. So, like there's certain teams that have players that do certain things, and most of their guys are turnover prone. Like, not all of them, but it's not like when John Morant steps off the court and they put in Jones, that dude just doesn't turn over the ball.
Right.
Like, he becomes like the ultimate game manager and takes over the game. They don't have someone who steps in and game manages when things have gone south. And so it kind of makes sense. Like Davion Mitchell, he doesn't turn the ball over. He doesn't. He played all 28 minutes the other night, 0 turnovers. So the Kings and Warriors were pacing right about the same. They're both they're right around 10 at halftime. The Kings turned the ball over twice in the second half. The Warriors turned it over 12 times. Like, those are things that, like, but that's who they are. Like, what are they going to do that they haven't done already? And I think what it is Steph has to get loose. Clay has to get loose. Somebody else has to step up, whoever it is. Jordan Poole has to do something because he just hasn't been a factor in the series at all. But that's been like his MO in the past. And I think he's not a player that's that difficult to pull out of his game. Like, you can get under his skin. You can force him to make mistakes and to turn the ball over. He's very turnover prone. Like, I just don't know. Like, what can the Warriors do? The Warriors can beat the Kings. I'm not saying they can't, but they're going to have to be really good to do it. And the Kings are going to have a bad night. And they've already had bad nights. 2
of them.
And
shooting.
That's the other crazy thing. The Kings have room to improve on how they play. They've played good enough. They played really well on defense in game 2, but they can shoot the ball a lot better. We talked about it earlier. Kevin Huerter, I felt, was just about to get his groove, and then he got those ticky-tack fouls at the beginning of the fourth quarter, which took him out of the game. He was starting to feel good about himself. He was starting to, hit a couple shots, get in the lane, do all this other stuff, and that ended up taking him out of the game. Still ended up with 15 points, but maybe that's something that he can build on for this game. He can be better. Keegan Murray only took 1 shot. I don't think he's made a 3 in this series. He can be better there. Sabonis, I think, could be even more dominant on the boards than he was in game 2. He can have another 16 rebound performance, and then this time have the points to go with it. So there's a lot of room for the Kings to improve as well.
Yeah, and I'll point this out too. Everyone expects the referees to be different in SF. for whatever reason. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, the refs have, the JJ Redick stuff." Like the refs have never been on the side of the Sacramento Kings ever. There's never been a time when they're on the Sacramento Kings side. I mean, go back and look at the 2-minute report for this season. More mistakes were made against the Kings than any team in the league. It is what it is. But if we go and we look at the way that the Golden State Warriors play, I'm just going to point out, even if the refs are really, really lopsided, the Warriors' personal fouls on the season, they're 30th in the league in free throw attempts. They don't get to the line. That's not who they are. They're not a physical downhill team that gets in the key and causes problems for you.
Right.
And so what are they going to do? Again, 2-point field goal percentage. They're number 1 in 3-point attempts. They're number 28 in two-point field goal attempts. Like, that's a problem for them. Like, if you want to get easy baskets, you got to go inside. You got to go get to the basket, especially on a team that doesn't have a natural shot blocker like the Kings, a team that, like, all season long has had trouble protecting their center and getting, from getting in foul trouble. Well, if Sabonis doesn't do silly fouls, he's not going to be in foul trouble. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I think it's very possible Sabonis will be in foul trouble in this next game. But if he can, how do you get in foul trouble when Looney doesn't score? Looney doesn't take you off the dribble. He doesn't force a shot against you. Yeah. No one is attacking the center of the Kings defense, which is weird because that's how you beat the Kings all season long. The Warriors are trying to do it their way, which is to launch an absorbent amount of threes. And if they hit a bunch, they can still get beat.
And that's been the story of these two games. These two teams have been exactly who they were all season long. Go back to, I'll repeat it till the series is over, one way or another. John Dickinson's tweet was perfect. Will the Kings be what they were all year, and will the Warriors be something different? So far, the Warriors haven't been anything different, and the Kings have been exactly who they were.
I'm going to add a nuance to that.
Yep.
The Kings have been better defensively.
They have, but we mentioned that earlier. I agree with you wholeheartedly. But how many times this year did we see moments? And I understand there are moments that we didn't. But how many times this year did we see maybe not the best defense for 42 minutes, but for the final 6, the final 4, the final 3, we saw really good defense from them. And that's what really stands out about Monday's game was after when the game came to a complete standstill. Because of the Draymond Green stuff, they came back. The Warriors' offense was moving. The Kings stepped up defensively in that moment, as they had several times during the regular season. It was defense in spurts. I don't know if you'd make the argument that they played really well defensively for the entire second game. I feel like they really did in the first quarter. I feel like they definitely did in the fourth quarter. But we've seen that from them a few times, especially in crucial games. They can play. You talk about the New Orleans game a couple of times, how that is one of the perfect games of the year for you. But we need to see it continue because you got to win 4 times and they've won 2.
It's just sitting there for your taking.
It feels like it is.
It is. I mean, if you come out again, if they come out like they have on the road, and that was a point I made yesterday on the pod. All of these games, we can go back. The Charlotte game was bad. They lost to the Wizards. You had
Who
one
just fired their general manager. By the way,
who just fired Tommy Shepard.
Yeah.
You lost to the Lakers. You had the Hawks on the road. Like all of them, almost every single one of the disappointing games happened at home, not on the road. And so this team on the road, sure, they lost, but they're 25-16. Like in their losses, like there's not that many road losses. Yeah. And to some really good teams. Like we can just rattle off the top 3 in the East that we know, like they lost all 3 of those games. So this is a team that when they're on the road are hyper-focused, and I like their chances at least in one of these games.
I agree.
I mean, it's possible they win both, but being realistic and all that stuff. I mean, like, look, you got to go in and beat them. The words aren't just going to hand it to you.
Yep.
And Mike Brown has said that. We got to take it from them. If we're going to take it, it's got to be us taking it. And the other thing I'll say too, how many times have we mold over how the Kings, have like the experience issue or the length issue. Like there are all these matchup issues for the Kings. The Golden State Warriors are realizing very quickly that the Sacramento Kings are a tremendous matchup problem for them. They don't have the pieces to match up against the Kings. Not right now.
Yeah.
And that's, again, it's roster construction, everything else, but they just don't.
Yeah.